is the Trader Investor. In today's video, I'm going to focus on looking at the market overall for the coming week. Yes, the trading day has already started, but the way we are setting up so far, there's really not a whole lot of action. And the way that I trade, I like to see a clear indication of which way the market is going. We don't have that clear indication. So starting out with our monthly chart, our monthly chart is in a downtrend from a longer term uptrend. We're pulling back slightly, looking at the SPYs to start with. And from that pullback, we want to see the strength of that pullback, how far it is going. And from there, then we move on to our weekly time frame. And we can see in our weekly time frame that we are making some strong pullbacks, making lower lows and lower highs. So that's what we're seeing in our weekly. And then when we move to our daily, we see the same thing happening, is that clearly those lower highs and lower lows that are happening. And today is an inside bar. On the daily, on the weekly, it's an inside bar. So an inside bar doesn't give me a whole lot to trade. And so that's why the hourly, where I pull the trigger, doesn't make any sense. But now let's just look at each one of these really clearly, one by one, so that we know where we stand. So on our monthly, we're pulling back close to the 38.2% retracement. We're not quite there, but we're coming very close to that. And you know, last week we had a rally, which the price is now far away from the low of the month. So in this uptrend, we're at the 38.2% retracement. On the weekly, in that retracement level, the lowest, the latest swing high to low, we are retracing to that 23.6%, right? So the monthly is retracing to the downside. On the weekly, we're seeing how far up are we retracing from this recent downtrend. So we know when we pass the 78.6, the trend resumes the bullish momentum. For now, what we're seeing is, where does it struggle to bounce and go back down, right? Does it bounce back from the 38.2? Right now, it's struggling to go past the 23.6. Even last week, it went above it, but it didn't close above it. It closed below it. So it's struggling, but it's an inside bar for the week. And so when we go for the daily, from this weekly swing, again, we have the daily swing that we can look at from the recent high to the recent low. We're struggling at that 38.2% retracement on that weekly, which lines up with, on the daily, which lines up with the weekly 23.6. So this area is acting like a strong resistance. So that's why in an inside bar, there is no trade for us. If we break the low of Friday, then we're going to the downside, because we know that this was a strong resistance and we're going to continue to the downside. So when we look at the hourly, there's really not a whole lot to do because of that inside bar. So we haven't broken the high of Friday nor the low of Friday. So we're contained within that. And so now as we get an entry, right? If we get an entry, we could not go above the 38.2 and we continue down, then we'll just use the same Fibonacci for our target. The 372 area would be our target. But for now, there's no trade. So we're just waiting. Right, so if we look at the cues, I will go a little bit faster, because now you understand my process on how I'm looking at this. Is within this uptrend, we have a strong downtrend. It's very, very much deeper than SPYs. Technology companies are struggling a little bit more than our SPYs. So we went below the 38.2. And we're struggling around the 50% retracement. Even that 50% doesn't mean trend reversal. For me, a trend reversal is when we break the 78.6. But until there, it's a shallow or deep pullback, depending on how far we go. the more we go down, the deeper the pullback. So monthly, weekly, within that pullback region, where are we standing? So we can draw it this way, but because we've pulled up so far, we can redraw it, but I'll keep it from this high to this low, struggling at the 23.6. The reason why I'm going to keep it that way is I'll use this area for the daily, right? So we've gone way up here, went from here to here, but for our daily we can use this swing here because the daily had not made a lot of stride, right? Recovering from this 38.6% retracement. It's struggling, right? Still an inside bar. So when you look at the hourly, we're staying within that day, so no trade. Same thing as the SPYs. IWM seems to be the strongest, but again, when we look at our monthly, it has the deepest pullback, like the Qs. We're hitting the 50%. When we look at our weekly, in this latest swing, here for our weekly, in this latest swing, we are not making it to the 38.2, right? We're not even making to the 23.6 because this is the 23.6, this is the 38.2. So we're struggling in IWM. And IWM is a leading indicator. If IWM is struggling, we are not yet recovering from this bearish market. We're waiting to see that confirmation. And so daily, that story continues. We're hitting against the 38.2 on this latest swing. However, it's still below the 23.6 on that weekly swing. So therefore, on the hourly, there is no trade to be made. One of the trades that I will make is if we close above the 38.2. I didn't do it on Friday because Friday was just strong up and then it went sideways. But if we close above the highs of Friday, then I might take a call position targeting the 61.8 because it's downward pressure, but just this quick move here would be interesting for us just to capture just a few dollar movement. I mean, it's not a small amount. From around 180 to 184.50, that's a significant amount of movement. So this is what I'm looking at for this week. I will come back and revisit it on Wednesday to see where we end up. All right, everyone, take care for now, and I'll see you in the next video.